guys, nice to see you again. This is another free math tutorial by Math Master Vic. Today we will discuss the topic expressing rational numbers from fraction form to decimal form and vice versa. This is part 1. Let's start. What I need to know. This module was designed and written with you in mind. It is here to help you master the process of expressing rational numbers from decimals to fractions and vice versa. The scope of this module permits it to be used in many different learning situations. The language used recognizes the diverse vocabulary level of students. The lessons are arranged to follow the standard sequence of the course, but the order in which you read them can be changed to correspond with the textbook you are now using. The module contains lesson on expressing rational numbers from fraction form to decimal form and vice versa. Then after going through this module, you are expected to express rational numbers from fraction form to decimal form and to express rational numbers from decimal form to fraction form. Okay? Next, what I know. So this part is we're going to find out our past ideas with regards to the questions about fractions and decimals. Okay? Let's start with number 1. Instruction: choose the letter of the best answer. Write the chosen letter on a separate sheet of paper. But for this discussion, for our tutorial, we're just going to answer on the paper itself for tutorial purposes. Okay? But for you, you have to write it on a separate sheet of paper based on the instruction. Okay. Number 1, it represents equal parts of a whole or a collection. So it is a fraction. The answer is a fraction. Why? For example, this is a whole, and then you divide it into 3 parts, equal parts, and then so this colored blue part is just one part of 3 parts, one part of all the 3 equal parts of a whole. So it's just equal, it represents equal parts of a whole or a collection. So when you say collection, it could be 2/3. For example, this will be 2 boxes being colored. So the ones that being colored blue, how many parts are this? 2, of course, out of 3 equal parts altogether as a whole. So this represents a fraction. Okay, this is what we call the fraction. It has a top number and a lower number. The top number is what we call numerator, and the bottom number is what we call the denominator. Okay. Next, for number 2, let's answer number 2. It is a number whose whole number part and the fractional part is separated by a decimal point. Okay, an example here is, for example, 1.75. Okay, the whole number part is 1 and the fractional part is 75, and it is separated by a decimal point. You see the point there between 1 and 7. This is what we call a decimal number or decimal. Letter A is the answer. Okay, number 3. Number 3. It is a point or dot we use to separate the whole number part from the fractional part of a decimal number. Just what we have discussed, the example in number 2, like 1.75. What do we call the point or the dot here? That is what we call the decimal point. Decimal point is the answer. Letter C. Okay, Let's go to the next page. Number 4. The first place to the right of the decimal point in a number. Okay, so if there is a number, that's just like our example, 1.75, the first place, according to the question, this first place to the right of the decimal point in a number represents what? It represents tenths. Tenths. Because it has only one place there from the point. So if there's one place, it represents 1 0 after 1. So it looks like this. A tenth. Okay. So there's 1 0 in the number below or in the bottom of a fraction. So it represents a tenth. Okay. Tenths. Tenths represent the tenths. The second place to the right of the decimal point in a number represents what? It represents hundredths. It represents hundredths because it has 2 zeros. It will be like this. Okay, for example, 1/100. Okay, so that's equal to 100. So it represents a decimal number like this. Oh no, 100. Okay, represents two places that represents 2 zeros. 1, 2. That is hundredths. Okay. Now, for number 6, express 0.25 to fraction. Okay, 0.25 to fraction. So this is, so when there is 25, we just copy that one as the top part of the fraction. And then since there are two places, 2 and then 5, there will be 2 zeros after 1. So that's 100. So we will simplify this one. Simplify by dividing this with 25. And then also the bottom, we divide also with 25. That will give us a 1/4 or 1/4. The answer is 1/4. Okay, it is on the next letter. I'm going to erase this one now. The answer is 1/4. So for number 6, it's letter C. C. Okay, 25/100 or 0.25 is equals to 1/4. Okay, number 7, express 1/2 to decimal form. So when you express it into decimal form, you must make the denominator or the bottom number into multiples of 10. Okay, usually with 1 and then a 0. Okay, 10, hundreds, thousands. Okay, so we need to multiply 2 to make it 100, or to make it 100. Okay, to make it 100, we multiply that with 50, and then also 1, we multiply that with 50. It must be the same number so that it will be equal, it's balanced, so it will become 50/100. So 50/100, it's just represent a 0 point and then 2 places, 5 and 0. Put this number, the top number, on the decimal part here, and then with 2 places because there are 2 zeros here for 100. So this is the decimal form, 0.50. Number 8, express 0.75 to fraction. So that will be 0.75, which it will be equal to 75. Okay, copy the decimal part after the decimal point, sorry. Then we count 2, 1, 2. So that will be 2 zeros, 1 and 2. So that will be the fraction form, but we need to simplify this one. Let's say we divide this each part, the top and the bottom part, with 25. Okay. So 75 divided by 25 is 3. And 100 divided by 25 is 4. So it will be 3/4 or 3 over 4, 3/4. That is letter A. Okay. Good job. Let's go to the next page. Number 9. Express 1/4 to decimal form. So when you express 1/4 to decimal form, we need to make 1/4 convert 4 into 100. So we need to multiply that with 25. Okay. So that it will be 100 here. And then the 1, we need to multiply that with 25 also. So that will be a 25 over 100. So to make it into a decimal form, copy the top portion, 25 with a decimal point here. We can put a 0 here. It's okay to put a 0 or no 0. And see to it that there are 2 decimal places because there are 2 zeros, 1 and 2. So therefore the answer is 0.25. So the answer is letter A. Number 10. Express 1/8 to decimal form. Okay, 1/8 to decimal form. 1 over an 8. So how do we express this one into a decimal form? 1 over 8. Since we cannot change this one 8 immediately to tens, hundreds, or thousands, we can just easily just divide this 2. 1 over 1 divided by 8, because a fraction is just division of two numbers. Okay, so 1 over 8 is just 1 divided by 8. So we will put the point here. We put the 0 here. So copy the point just on top of the decimal point. So 10 divided by 8, that will be a 1. And then 1 times 8, is equals to 8. 10 minus 8, that will be a 2. Then put 0 here. Bring down 0. So 8, that will be 2. 20 divided by 8 is 2. 2 times 8 is 16. Okay, and then put down the 4. And then put 0 again, and then 0 here. So that's 40. That is a 5. Okay, 5 times 8 is a 40. So 40 minus 40 is 0. Therefore, the answer is 0.125. 0.125, letter C. Okay, good. Let's go to the next page. Okay, lesson 1, expressing rational numbers from fraction form to decimal form and vice versa. What's in? This module is a continuation of the concepts on operations on integers and on greatest common factors. Mastering the rules in the previous module will speed you in completing this module. Let's check your learning. Greatest common factor. Find the greatest common factor of the two numbers. Okay, you can see here that there are two numbers, 7 and 14. To find the greatest common factor, let's find the multiples of 7 and 14. What are the multiples of 7 and 14? That will be 1 and then 7. Also for 14, that will be 1, 7, and 14, right? So, what are the... Oh, we have also a 2. 1, 2, 7, and a 14. Okay, but the greatest is, we could see that the smallest is 1, but the greatest common factor or common multiple is 7. 7, right? So therefore the answer is 7. Okay, now for number 2. Number 2, what is the GCF or the greatest common factor for 12 and 32? So if there's a 12 and then there's a 32, you find the multiples of it. 12 starts with 1, then 2. We can also multiple of 3 here. Also with 4. It is also a multiple of 5. No. 6. Yes. 7. No. 8, 9, 10. No. And then 12. Now what about the multiples of 32? So let's 1 could be 2 also. 3. No. 4 could be 5. No. A 6. Nope. A 7th. An 8. A 9th. No. 10th. 11th. 11. How about the 12? No. Also, okay. And so we will see here what's the greatest common factor between 12 and 32. That will be 4. Okay. There are still many factors for 32. But you can see that there's no more 12 there. So 8, maybe 16, 32. Okay, but 16 is not part of the multiples of 12. So that can't be. So the greatest is 4. Okay, 4. Okay, let's go to the next. 3 and 21. So what are the multiples of 9? The greatest multiples of 9. And then the greatest multiple of 21. Okay, for 9, let's say 9. It's 1 and then 3, of course, and then 9. What about 21? That's 1. And then next, 2? No. 3, yes. 4, no. 5, no. 6, no. 7, no. 8, nope. 9, 10, no. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 21. Okay. So the greatest is 3. 3 is the GCF. Greatest common factor. Answer is 3. Okay. Now let's go to number 4. For number 4. 10 and 45. 10 and 45. Let's check. So let's go to make it faster, let's go to the smallest number. What are the 1 multiples of it? 2 could be 3, no. 4, nope. 5 and 10. Okay, now let's go to the greatest. Can 45 be a multiple of 10? No. With 5, of course. So immediately that's the answer, 5. Okay, we just go to the biggest multiple of 10. This one cannot be, but 5 is okay. So 5 is the greatest. And then let's go to number 5. 4 and 28. Okay. 4 and 28. So multiples of 4 is 1, 2, and 4. Now let's go to 28. Is it a does it has a multiple of 4? Yes. Because 9 times 4 is 28. Therefore, the answer is 4. Okay. 4 is the GCF of number 5. Okay. That is 4. Let me write it clearly. Maybe you will think that that is 9. Must be 4. Okay, that's 4. Okay, let's go to the next page. Perform operations on integers. Perform the indicated operations on integers. Okay. So negative 7 plus positive 2. So when positive and positive are being multiplied, it remains positive. So that will become negative 7 plus 2, which is equals to negative 5. That is the answer, negative 5. Now negative 7 minus minus or minus negative 3. So when negative 2 to the same operation like plus and plus or minus and minus, and you multiply them together, it will become positive. So negative 7, then it will become plus 3. this will be equals to negative 4. Number 8, positive 8, this will be just 8 times 3. So that will just be 8 times 3, which just equals to 24. Next, positive 3 times negative 1 times negative 1. If you multiply positive to the negative number, it will, the answer, the product is a negative number. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Then negative 3 divided by positive 3. So negative 3 divided by positive 3. So two different signs. When divided together, it will give you a negative number. So that will be 3 divided by 3. That will be 1. But it must be negative 1. Okay, that's the answer. Let's go to the next page. Okay, what's new? In our previous lesson, we learned about fraction, decimal. We also learned about how to perform operations on integers, and we learned how to find the greatest common factor. Now we can use them in expressing rational numbers from fraction form to decimal form and vice versa. Here's an example of how the fractional part can be converted into decimals. Okay, let's look at it. So 25 and 6/10. 25 is the whole number part, so 2 is in the tens place and 5 is in the ones place. That's the 25, and there's a decimal number, that's the point, and 6/10. So in the tens place, 6 will be in the first part after the point because it has one place because of the 10 in the tenth. Okay, and then 25 over and 600 600ths. So that will be 25, that's decimal point, and 600ths. Put the 6 here because there should be two places because of the two zeros of the hundredth place. Okay, 25 over and 6 and 1,000. So that's 25 a point, and then 6 here, of course, because there are three places that you need to put because of the thousandth place. 0, 0, and 6. Okay, now here for the representation in visual type, 6 and tenth or 6/10 or 0.6 or 6/10, we can see that there are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts that is being colored gray out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 parts. So that is why it's a 6/10 or 6 over a 10, 6 parts out of 10 parts. Same with the other. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sixth, and then why it's 100, because when you count from side to side, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you count also on the other side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's a 10/10. So 10 times 10, it's 100. So that's why 6 over 100, 6 part being colored gray over 100 parts. So that is 0.06 also, or 600ths. Okay. Also with 6 and 1,000, that will be 6 parts out of 1,000 parts, or 6/1000ths. Okay. Next, let's go to the next. Decimal numbers can be written both in expanded form, in words, and in words. Okay, like 14, that is 10 and 4, of course. And 0.2, that is 2/10 or 2 over a 10. And then 0.05, right? 0.05, that is 5 over 100. And then here 0.008, that will be 8 and 1,000. So when we call that, when we read that in words, the decimal in words is 14 and 258,000. 14 and 258. thousandth, or 14.258. Okay, 14.258. The whole number part and the fractional part of a decimal number is separated by a decimal point. Okay, the point there. Okay, let's go to the next. What is it? Throughout the discussion, let us express the rational numbers from fraction form to decimal form and vice versa. There are some steps that you may follow. To express fraction to decimal form, follow these steps. Find a number you can multiply by the bottom of the fraction to make it a 10 or 100 or 1000 or any one followed by zeros. Okay? But if not, you just need to divide both numbers. Step 2, multiply both top and bottom by that number. Okay? And then write down just the top number, putting the decimal point in the correct spot, one space from the right hand side for every zero in the bottom number. Okay, if it is 10, 100, 100, or 1000, or 1 and followed by zeros. Okay, here, express 3/4 to decimal form. We can multiply 4 by 25, yes, to become 100. Okay, and also we will multiply 25 also to 3. Okay, because we need what we multiply at the bottom, we also multiply at the top part of the fraction. Okay, let's move to the next page for the step 2. Oops. Step 2, multiply top and bottom by 25. You can see that one. 25 and then 25, it must be the same. Just to make the bottom part 1 with zeros. You see that? 100. And then, so 3 times 25, it will become 75, and 4 times 25 is 100. So write down 75 with the decimal point, 2 spaces from the right, because 100 has 2 zeros. Yes, correct. Because of the 2 zeros, 1, 2. Put the 7 and 5. So that's because there are 2 zeros, 2 places also, and then the point. 0.75. Okay, good. Let's go to the next page. Example 2, express 1/3 to decimal form. There is no way to multiply 3 to become 10 or 100 or any one followed by zeros. But we can calculate an approximate only decimal by choosing to multiply by, say, 333. So multiply top and bottom by 333. So like 1/3, you multiply 333 to make it 333. And 3 you multiply 333 just to make it 999, which is close to 1,000, right? Close to 1,000. Okay, so 1 with zeros. Now 999 is nearly 1,000, so let us write down 333 with a decimal point, 3 spaces from the right, because 1,000 has 3 zeros, so it will be like this: 0.333, accurate to only 3 decimal places. Okay, so it's just rounded off. Okay, 0.333. But you can also do, actually you can do also, you just immediately divide that one. Okay, like for other numbers, you can just immediately divide 1. So 1/3 is just 1 divided by 3, right? And you put the decimal point here, of course, because 1 and 1.0 is just the same. So that will be a 3 here. 3 times 3 is a 9. Put the 1 again. Put 0, 0, another 3. And it's 9 again. And then 0, 1, 0. Okay, it's another 3. It's always 3, 3, 3. So you can still have the same answer. Okay, you can just divide that or multiply a number that will approximate it. Okay, good. Let's go to the next. Express 1/9 to decimal form. Okay, for here, there is no way to multiply 9 to become 10 or 100 or any one followed by zeros, but we can calculate an approximate decimal by choosing to multiply by, say, 11. So 1/9, you multiply that with 11. times 11 and times 11. That will give you an 11 over 99, right? Which is 99 is near to 100. So actually, if 100, two zeros, right? So 1, 1, two decimal places, and then the decimal point here. Actually, this is the approximate only to two decimal places. Okay, let's go to the next. You can see that is just the same, 0.11 or 11 hundredths. Okay, you can see that here. Good, because it has two zeros, 100. Next, let's go to the next one. Example 4, express 1/11th to decimal form. So there is no way also but to multiply to make the bottom number 10 or 100, but just to multiply both parts, top and the bottom, by 9. You can see here 1 times 9 is 9 and 11 times 9 is 99. And since that is approximate, so 9, so that will be a 0.2 places, right? Because 99 is just 100, near to 100, to 2 places. So because there is only 9, you put the 9 here at the rightmost and then put the 0 here. So that is 0.09. Accurate only to 2 decimal places. Okay. Now let's go to the next. To express a decimal number to a fraction, follow these steps. Write down the decimal divided by 1 like this. Multiply both top and bottom by 10 for every number after the decimal point. For example, if there are two numbers after the decimal point, then use 100. If there are three, then use 1000, etc. Okay, so simplify or reduce the fraction. Next, express 0.75 to fraction. Write down 0.75 divided by 1. So this form, and then multiply both top and bottom by 100. Why? Because there are two digits here, 7 and 5 after the decimal point, so that 10 times 10 is 100. So we multiply 0.75 by 100 to make it 75, and then 1, we multiply that also to make it 100. So 75 over 100. Okay, we can also simplify this one. Let's check on the next part. 75 divided by 5, you can see it there. Divide it with 5, both parts, and then divide it with 5 also again, the next part. But you can just do it faster if you just divide it with 25. Divide it with 25, but you can also do it slowly, one by one, if you don't know that 75 and 100 is divisible by 25. So this is 3 over 4, 3/4. Okay, see, it's just the same. Okay, all right. Let's go to the next one. That is correct, 3/4. We can simply get the greatest common factor of 75 and 100. Just follow these steps. List the multiple of 75, just what we do last time, and then 100, and find their GCF. You see, the smallest is 1. See, the next greater one is 5. But the greatest common is 25. The greatest common factor. Greatest. Okay? Simplify the fraction by dividing their GCF. 3/4. Okay. But if you don't want, you can just do it slowly like the one we did before. Like you divide it with 5 and then you divide it with 5 again. Okay? 7 over 100 is called a decimal fraction, and 3/4 is called a common fraction. Okay. a decimal fraction because the bottom part is with 1 and zeros. That's what it means. Okay. Erase. Let's go. Continue. When there is a whole number part, put the whole number aside and bring it back at the end. Express 2 and 35 to a fraction. Put the 2 aside and just work on 0.35 like this, 0.35, and you multiply the top, multiply by 100. Why? Because there are two places here, 3 and 5, so we multiply 100 because 100 has two zeros, and multiply also with 100, so it will become a 35 over 100. Okay, and we can still simplify that one. This one can still simplify. Let's go to the next page. Simplify it by dividing it with 5, the top and the bottom part, so it becomes 7. 35 divided by 5 is 7, and 100 divided by 5 is 20. Now bring back the 2 to make a mixed fraction. Yeah, the 2. So it's just like 7 over 20 is 0.35 hundredths, and plus the 2 whole number part, so that is 2 and 7 over 20, or 7/20. Okay. Oh, part 1 is finished. Thank you for viewing and liking this part 1 of the video from Mathmaster Vic.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell, like, share, and leave your comments below. Please visit my YouTube channel, Math Master Vic, and my Facebook page, Math Master by Teacher Vic. Thank you and God bless us all. Have a good